everybody. Welcome back, or welcome to the show. Either way, it is heading back to the window, doing it college style with Scott and Scott. I am Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together, we make up heading back to the window. And that's exactly what we did last week on our college plays. By the way, Scott, I'm getting ready to look at the odds there on a certain offshore betting site. Did you know you can take odds on which country will be attacked by aliens first?
Yes, I did notice that.
You did see that?
The U.S. is favored. I saw that months ago.
U.S. is a big favorite at plus 1,000. They're the number one betting choice on the board. Do you happen to know what the second betting choice is?
Is it Canada?
It is Greenland. Greenland, sir.
Would not have guessed that one.
Does that sound like inside information to you?
That does, but I'm not going to bet it.
I think somebody knows. I think that line sticks to me, Scott.
I'm more curious what it's like for the actual sports book grader who has to make the decision on if the UFO was real or not. You know, there's a lot of questions.
The market will be settled after confirmation by the NSA. If none are attacked by 12/31/21, all bets are void.
That's a waste of time and money if you end up getting it voided like that.
What if the odds are collecting? So the bad news is the world has been annihilated and every major city is in flames. The good news is I got France at plus 2,500. So who's the real winner here, Scott?
That's the real question. I don't know.
Man, I'm sorry. Usually the show goes off the rails, but usually it's on the rails to start. Today we're not even on the tracks. So
well, you mentioned it. I did notice that available a couple months ago.
I did not. I was looking for WWE odds, and of course I looked under entertainment, and it was not there. But I did find the alien thing. So
if we end up bringing back a WWE show, I'm in for it. I think it'll be a fun thing to do.
Well, somebody talked about it the other day in the comment section. They requested it, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be a great idea.
During the pandemic, we did have, I believe it was 2 WWE shows.
Yeah, we did a couple, and I talked to Dave about it today because he's like seriously a WWE guy, and I said, yeah, dude, before the next big event, before the next pay-per-view, let's do a WWE show. He goes, well, it's this weekend.
Well, the next one.
I go, that's perfect timing. He goes, okay, how about the next one? Hey, Joan's back. What's going on, Joan? It's good to have you back. We're spending, I spend more time with you than I do my wife, probably, Rochelle, between both of us working and everything, and then it's.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but you're welcome.
It's not a good thing.
Okay.
You're fine. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind spending a couple hours a day with you. I just rather spend more than that with my wife. But
I get that.
So let's get rolling, buddy. Let's talk about the top 25. I was waiting kind of here for everybody to slide in. It's they all got a break after our show. Come on, guys. We didn't take much of a break. We came right back. We did good last week, buddy. We each had 3-0 weeks. As I went 3-0, as I had Presbyterian Marist over 71.5, Air Force minus 2.5, and I had my old pal, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, and Bailey Zappi minus the 18. Those all came through. They took me 3 games over 500 now to 18 and 15.
And for
missed the old day of betting on. I'm missing it.
All good. Anyway,
okay.
I went 3-0 as well. I had Air Force minus 2.5 at minus 110. I had Temple team total under 14.5. Terrible weather. They only scored 8 points. And I ended up having Marist in the final Theta Presbyterian minus 13, and they won by 30 plus. There
you go. Takes you to 19, 13, and 1 on the season. You're still holding that game and a half lead. Of course, you're 2 ahead in the all-important loss column. T-Train's riveted to the Clemson game. Scott, you missing the you watching the Clemson game?
I am not at the moment, but I expected it to be a low-scoring grind, and that seems like what the game has become.
See, here's the difference between you and me. You watch games for fun. You will watch a basketball game you have no action on, right?
Yes, I love watching either the NBA or college basketball. I like college basketball more just for the actual atmosphere of it and all. But
I watch almost no sports anymore unless I'm doing background work or I have a bet on it.
Is St. Bonaventure a second half team? Stay tuned for more information.
What do you think about a 3-teamer with Western Kentucky -10, Notre Dame under 59.5, and Boise State -27?
My advice would be if you're betting 3-teamers, try not to sell your house on it.
Okay, well let me look at it before you give your pat fucking snappy.
Western Kentucky, that game I have to plead the fifth on, at least for now. Notre Dame, the under, it's a little tricky because Notre Dame's defense has struggled against good offenses. Against bad offenses, not exactly. Well, I would say it's fared pretty well against bad offenses. We saw Virginia with a backup quarterback last week do absolutely nada against that team. Georgia Tech kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm not a big Sims fan at quarterback, but I think he's okay. I guess I'd lean under there. I feel like it's a tough one, but Boise, do I want to lay 27 with Boise? That's the real question. I know New Mexico is a god-awful team, but Boise seems to have gotten it back on track. The total's 48, though. Do I really want to lay 27 in a total of 48?
See, that's Boise is, to me, doesn't, at least anecdotally, doesn't strike me as a great cover team.
I don't believe they are. Now, New Mexico got killed by Fresno last week.
They're 6-1 against the number. Wyoming, worst cover team in the nation, by the way, Scott.
You said Wyoming?
I'm in New Mexico, rather. Okay. Sorry, in New Mexico. Sorry, I got my.
They're both bad. It's fine.
They are both bad. They're both in the Mountain West, but New Mexico 1-9 against the numbers. By just going 3-7 on the season. If I'm playing, I'm laying. But man, I would.
That's not really a fun one, but you're hoping New Mexico scores basically less than 10 points.
I definitely check the weather in Boise. I don't know what it's doing. You definitely it's the time of year where you better be checking the weather in front of every game that you have.
Yeah, pretty much.
Irish 27 straight home game covers as a favorite. Is that right?
It could be. Truth is, that's information to me, but I wouldn't be taking Georgia Tech in this game.
No. I'll believe Jay Good, man. Our people aren't going to lie in the comment section. We got the best commenters out there, dude. They find nuggets like this. Write that shit down. Irish 27 straight home game covers as a favorite. Boom, there you go. Marco Regalado wants to. Zach Vaughn, what's up? You guys are both on Facebook. You guys know each other?
Is it still Facebook or is it Meta now?
Oh yeah, it's got the. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know what it's called at this point, but anyway, we got a lot of games to go through. You want to get started?
Whatever. What do you got plans?
Well, we're usually here for an hour and change, so I figured you might want to get the whole thing started.
I just like to bullshit. I like to talk about nothing for 10 minutes before we even get.
I do too, but I know this is usually the longest show that we have every week.
Maybe buy down Boise to 21. That's expensive, but I don't disagree with it. I think 21 is a lot better number than 27.
Only losers pay juice.
That's right, buddy. Okay, so we'll start with one that when I did this on Wednesday, I didn't have a line for it. So Mississippi State, Tennessee State. It's going to be Mississippi. I think they're going to be.
I love the out of conference strength of schedule for these SEC teams.
This SEC. These couple of weeks for the SEC. This fucking shit they throw in the middle. God, little palate cleanser.
Mississippi State, you come back from Auburn, your reward, Tennessee State. I mean, they earned it, they earned it.
Little toothpick team there. I don't have a number. You got a number on this anywhere? Let me see if I can.
Let me see what I can get. If I do, it's not going to be available in most books. I'll tell you that much, because this is definitely one of these extra games they'll add in probably either the day of or the night before. But
yeah,
let me see if I got anything.
I'll check my grid and see what 5 dimes has.
I don't see anything yet. Sorry. Do I see anything here? No, I don't see a line. So, yeah, since I can't talk about it, Mississippi State, and I don't know what the total is, but under. Screw it. I don't know.
Yeah, I hate. Have I told you how much I hate the new Don Best layout, where they took away the names of the teams and just put 3-letter initials?
You're not a fan of the acronym system.
There's fucking 350 college football teams.
Yeah.
I can't scroll. It's a lot harder to scroll for MST and TNT or whatever the. Anyway,
I get it.
There it is. Nope, I don't have a number. Sorry.
I mean, this is kind of like the BYU Idaho State game that we talked about like a week or two ago, where we didn't know what the line was, but we're definitely not taking the FCS team.
No. For the record, okay. Well, fuck it. I guess we're each going to take Mississippi State in the over.
I was kind of torn between the over and the under. I'm actually just doing a quick amount
Without
of
knowing
research.
what the number is.
Without knowing what the number is, I'm doing some quick research on the actual Tennessee State offense. I got to go with the under.
Okay.
I mean, Tennessee State scored 7 points against Austin Peay. I don't think they're going to score any points.
All right, fine. And we're off to a great start, by the way.
Yeah. Well, we picked the game where there's no line because the SEC decided to pad everyone's records.
Well, and here's the game that we talked about that's going on tonight: Houston and Memphis. Houston minus 8.5. I know, I'm pretty much on the record there as liking Houston.
We just went through this like half an hour ago, but if you did not listen to that show, I like Houston. I know you like Houston. Yep. As for the total, I'm going to go with the over on principle. I can't take an under between Memphis and Houston.
Agreed. I don't love this Memphis offense, but I think Houston does enough heavy lifting on their side. Did Wake Forest lose their quarterback? Not to my knowledge.
No, we're going to talk about that game. I find that line rather fascinating.
Yeah, and by fascinating, we mean stinky and suspicious.
Yes.
UTSA ranked 22nd. We'll talk about the 23rd ranked team here in a minute. UTSA host UAB, another line that is fairly suspicious. Scott, is UTSA the Road Runners?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this is the conference title game.
4.5 point favorites. Yeah, pretty much is. 50.
You can argue Western Kentucky, but that defense I don't think is good enough to actually win a conference title.
I don't know, bud. Don't go to sleep on them on offense. You know how that works.
I like the Hilltoppers, man. Big fan of Hills, big fan of Toppers.
Big fan of Hills and then getting on top of them? Oh, absolutely. As far as this game goes here, I don't know how to get away from you at UTSA in this spot. I really don't.
The only argument that you could have is the fact that, well, UTSA last week clearly had a look-ahead spot against Southern Miss because they didn't care. Right. So I'm not going to overreact to that. The only argument you have is that UAB's been there, done that before, or this is definitely the biggest game, arguably, in program history up to this point for UTSA. Is that a fair statement?
No question about it. First time they've been ranked. Yeah, it's a lot of firsts for them this year.
So that's why you can make an argument that the pressure could get to them against a UAB team that kind of owns the conference, if you want to go through the last couple of years.
Sure.
But for that reason, I'm going to take the points. I think you'll see a close game throughout, maybe a field goal separating these teams. I like the under, though. I think you're going to see both these teams. We know UAB isn't exactly going to light it up offensively. Defensively, pretty good unit, but both teams love to run the ball. I expect a lot of running clock. A lot of long drives. Give me the under.
I don't hate that. This is a UTSA team whose defense is kind of underrated. Their defense is kind of saved it for them in a couple of games this season. They've given up just right at 11 points over their 11 points a game, or excuse me, no, less than that. Yeah. So 13 points a game over their last 4. That's not too shabby. And UAB, like you said, they're a team that's never going to light it up. They're going to want to run the ball. They kind of ran into a stone wall against Marshall last week, but were able to throw for 250 through the air. I don't think they're going to throw for 250 against UTSA. I
just think 4.5 sounds a little bit too high for such a high pressure situation for one of these teams.
Right. By the way, what UTSA already beat Western Kentucky once this year.
Yeah, that was the game that had like 98 points or whatever.
Yeah, 52-46 if I remember right. So. All right, so you like UAB there?
Yeah, I'm going to take the points. I think that UTSA is a team I really like. I hope they win because I like seeing new blood in any conference.
Yep.
But UAB has always been the top dog, and I do think that even though this isn't exactly the year for them, I do think it's a good spot for them to sneak up on a UTSA team that has all of the weight on their shoulders right now.
If you come for the king, you best not miss, man. That's all I'm saying. I like UTSA there. Okay. I can't. You know what?
My favorite plays the under, but
I think that's solid as well. Syracuse getting 11.5 as they travel to North Carolina State. Face the 20th ranked Wolfpack. 50.5 is the number here. I've been slow to come.
You know that I like NC State.
Yeah, I'm the more I watch this ACC, the more I'm convinced that North Carolina State is certainly the most complete team in that conference. I don't think obviously their offense can't match Wake Forest, but they got a little bit of a defense, Scott. They can play some defense as well. And at the end of the day, I think that's served them well. Syracuse absolutely shit the bed for us last week in Louisville.
But how good is Louisville?
Complete
You don't know because they beat Syracuse and Duke by about 90 apiece. I don't know what to read into
What
that.
they give up? 26 to Duke, 32 to Duke.
It wasn't pretty.
62-32 was that game?
I think it was 62 to 22 or 20 something. They didn't give up 30. They gave up like low 20s.
Still not good. Still not a good look.
But Syracuse couldn't move the ball against them.
That's what I'm saying for the team that couldn't. They threw for 46 yards, dude.
I'm going NC State. Am I supposed to criticize them for losing a very close game on the road against Wake Forest? No, they hung tough. They lost.
Yeah,
it's fine. I think they'll win and bounce back.
I'm playing the under there as well. I don't think Syracuse does anything on offense.
I agree. I think that this game has some type of 27-10 game written all over it.
Yep, that's the vibe. That's the vibe that sounds about right as well. San Diego State plays UNLV tonight as well. San Diego State 10.5 point favorites. Did we talk about that game?
We did not. We actually did not have time to get to that one. But UNLV has been a little sneaky, but they've played some really bad teams. So I don't really know what to read into that. But they've been surprisingly competitive in their conference. They've lost a fair share of games, but they've been close in a couple of them. San Diego State can't move the ball, but they have a great defense. So I guess the question that you have to ask is, A, will San Diego State's defense outscore UNLV's offense? And B, is UNLV going to really score anything of any kind? They're kind of related, but that's kind of the question you have to ask.
Yeah, it is, because the San Diego State team that, for all they're great on defense, they create a lot of turnovers. They're just +3 in the turnover differential. Part of that is they turn the ball over a shitload too, which is really bad.
Well, San Diego State, even if they don't score, UNLV has long fields every drive because San Diego State has the best punting prospect in the history of college football.
Which you and I, we swear sometime when we have some time, we're going to talk about whether a punter or a kicker should be a number 1 pick.
I would take him in the second round in a heartbeat. That guy is unbelievable at what he does.
Okay, take him in the first round. Okay.
If I can bet on an MVP for a bowl game, I'll bet the San Diego State punter for fun.
Nice. Jacob Houston likes Boston College -1.5 against Florida State. I get that. FSU coming off that win against Miami.
It's not even just coming off the Miami win. It's a sandwich spot. They play Florida on the road next week.
Correct.
Complete sandwich spot. Florida State stinks. I mean, Manny Diaz should have been fired already. Florida State probably should have lost the game. They converted the 4th and 13 with about 2 minutes to go. Boston College is a team that's physical. They'll grind it at home. And you know that Florida State is still not a good team. Congrats on beating Miami. You're still not very good. Boston College physically should dominate in the trenches. I agree, especially in the cold environment. I don't like taking Florida teams in the cold East Coast, so I'll go with the under. I'll go with the under, and I'll take Boston College.
God, this fucking Boston College offense. Jesus.
It's bad. It's really bad.
It is such a great situational spot for the Eagles. I get that. And I watch that offense like, I can't fucking bet that.
Well, that's why I said the under, because I can't take it over with Boston College.
Yeah, God bless you. I get it. It certainly matches up with the two Florida teams that they're playing in the middle and going on the road. And everything sets up for that to be a big BC. But we'll see. As far as this game goes with San Diego State, you know what? I'll take UNLV walking through the back.
Give me the points.
Yeah.
Give me the points, and I'll take the under.
Well, yes.
I'm all over unders today, but I mean, I don't know how I'm not supposed to. San Diego State is just dreamt. That's what gamblers dream of when they bet unders.
Yeah, they're the perfect under team. They don't
go
score
3 and out. They punt the ball 75 yards at a time. Their defense is great. I don't know what more you want.
BC will give you an ulcer. Yeah. No question. Well, and here's a game that may be a little bit different from the SDSU UNLV game, Scott. It's going to be the Pitt Panthers, number 18 in the nation, hosting the University of Virginia.
Cavaliers?
No, I was trying to think of something funny to say about the Fighting Cavaliers, but I couldn't pull it. So,
do we know who's the quarterback for Virginia in this game? Because Armstrong didn't play last week. I know he's questionable with a rib issue, but it's really tough to like Virginia if the backup scored no points last week. That's a little bit of an issue. So I'm going to have to pump the brakes because I don't know who's going to be the quarterback. Assuming Armstrong plays, I love the over. you kind of have to. I don't know how you're not going to like the over in this matchup.
You're contractually obligated to love the over 66.5 in that game.
But with the backup, I got to go with Pittsburgh.
All right, I'm just looking for see if I've got a injury update here. He is,
and it's a cop-out answer, but we have to give a cop-out answer. It's about a full day before the game. I don't know who's going to be quarterback for Virginia. The backup isn't any good.
Yeah.
If Armstrong plays, give me the over.
Yeah, he's still questionable with that rib injury. Yeah. I you know what? This Virginia defense is just so bad.
Give me the over. Give me Virginia. I'll gamble and assume Armstrong plays. But after that massive collapse against North Carolina, in which Pitt won the game in overtime anyway, they were dominating for the entire first half and yet let North Carolina just sneak back into the game. I can't trust this Pitt team. I think they're poorly coached. I'll take the underdog.
Okay. I hate the hook there, but I'm going to play Pitt. I'm going to
They gave up 30-something to Duke.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll go with Virginia plus the points.
And you've got the over there as well?
Assuming Armstrong plays, yeah.
Okay. Number 17, Iowa hosting the Fighting Illini of Illinois. Iowa 12.5-point favorites, 38.
I was going to say, forget about the spread. What's the total? Let's get into these Big Ten totals.
Jay Good says Armstrong should play, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. Michigan State, Ohio State. Oh, yeah, we'll get there. We're getting there. 38 is the number there. Yeah, welcome to the Big Ten, Scott.
Under. I can't take an over in this game. What, are you kidding me?
Every week they keep dropping that number.
I was right about the Iowa over last week against Minnesota because both those teams occasionally generate big plays. If Illinois can't run the ball, they can't do anything.
Yeah, and it's going to be a definite challenge for them to run the ball against this Iowa defense that gives up about 3.1 yards per carry. 100.
I can't take an over if I'm not sure if one of these teams is going to score.
Yeah, and Illinois, they're 1-8-1 as far as over-unders go, Scott. So you think of Iowa as being this big under team, and Illinois is actually a more of an under team, simply because, like you said, they don't score.
They don't have a quarterback who's any good, and Bielema's going to run the ball 40-something times. So give me the under. Do I want to lay 12 with Iowa? No, but I'm going to do it. I think Illinois is in a spot where they just won a game last week against Minnesota. I think that's going to be a letdown spot. Give me Iowa winning 24-0.
Yeah, I want none of that. No Petrus.
I think they're better without Petrus. Other quarterback Padilla's actually looked okay.
He's certainly not good. I'll take the Fighting Illini there.
Do you like the under?
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah.
Like I can't take an over in that matchup.
Oh, Jacob. Degenerate special. I love this Army team, man, and they're not afraid of big numbers. They'll cover those motherfuckers. Minus 35.5. Again, a badly placed hook.
What number do you think Army finishes in there? Do you think they finish 56 or 63? They're not kicking a field goal.
I say they miss one extra point.
So you're going 55?
55-10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
UMass doesn't do well with regular run offenses.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't have a number on this either. Texas A&M, Prairie View A&M. It's the battle of the A&M, Scott. Something's got to give.
Are they playing on the prairie?
I think they're playing either on the agricultural fields or in the mines.
Well, if they're not on the prairie, then I got to take Texas A&M.
Yeah, we don't have a line.
No, I feel we should just skip games if there's no line on them because there's just.
Well, I was hoping by the time that we got and did the show there would be a line.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Future reference, we might go through them briefly, but it might just be easier if we just skip the games with no lines because I don't know what we're supposed to tell you.
Find a line.
Like what are we supposed to tell them? I don't know.
Find a line. Bet the favorites.
Pretty much.
Okay, there you go. Who's your favorite team, buddy? It's your alma mater. Wisconsin hosts the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
They remembered how to play football.
Which one of them?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Nebraska's still terrible, but Wisconsin's in a winning streak. They haven't lost in over a month.
Are they terrible? Scott Frost just got an extra year.
What are you doing, man? Nebraska's really good at losing close games. So I guess the first step is being competitive. The second step is doing everything wrong in the final 5 minutes of a football game, which is
Well,
what Scott Frost specializes in.
First step is knowing you have a problem, admitting you have a problem, and I don't think Nebraska's done that yet, Scott.
I don't think they have either, but he's been a disastrous fit so far.
Yeah, he has.
How many interceptions for Martinez in this one? I'm going 3.
Get a player prop of Martinez. You know what? This Wisconsin team, they've figured out how to succeed on offense, and that's
run the damn ball. That's it. It doesn't matter who you have. Allen, I know Malusi's out, but Allen's been really, really good. So I don't think that's a big deal. Up front, They're great. Defensively, top 3 defense in the country, in my opinion. And according to stats, they would agree with me. But I'm going to go with Wisconsin. It's in Camp Randall. What's Nebraska playing for? They've officially been eliminated from bowl game contention. What do they got?
They got nothing. They got nowhere else to be, Scott.
But you can't even make an argument like they're 4-6. They have to win out. Like they have nothing. The season's over.
No, go home. That's a pretty tough stretch. Michigan, Minnesota, Purdue, Ohio State,
and then Wisconsin. You had a bye in between there, so you had a week to accept the fact that you're not making it to a bowl game before getting killed again. So I don't know. Do you have any thought on the total? Because I kind of have to like the under because I think Nebraska's defense isn't that bad.
No,
but Wisconsin's been scoring some points the last couple of weeks. Not insane amounts, but for Wisconsin standards,
right?
28 is like 55.
I just think it's the new 55. I just don't think Nebraska does anything.
I agree.
Jacob Houston said Wisconsin should steamroll Nebraska. Martinez.
They should. But Nebraska's defense is okay, so you never know which Mertz you're going to get because he can be awful by himself. But up front, Wisconsin should dominate. I got to assume they win this game by at least 14 points.
Little known fact, Martinez has been the starter for 17 years at Nebraska. Did you know
Fun fact, he's still a junior. I don't know if you knew that. He's going to be back again next year.
He's a redshirt junior.
Like Mitch Lightfoot. Been around for 45 years.
You know, when you start having a white beard, it may be time to go if you get out of college. That's all I'm saying. BYU, Scott, the fighting Mormons, they'll go anywhere to fight anybody. They're headed to Georgia to play Georgia Southern. The Eagles are 19.5 point, or excuse me, the BYU Cougs are 19.5 point favorites. And the total here is a 57 and the hook.
Georgia Southern, we know, is a team that runs the option, or at least they try to, because they're not very good at it this year. But BYU is a team that defensively has been up and down. They've also been known to occasionally play down to their non-conference competition. But this Georgia Southern team is so bad. They're an awful team. I have to like BYU. Up front, we keep talking about the trenches. BYU's got grown men as their offensive linemen and their defensive linemen. I got to assume the Cougars roll.
You know, my problem with the BYU Cougars, Scott, they don't play very well on the road.
Yeah.
They don't play mini games on the road. And they don't play particularly well on the road. They're just 1-3 on the highway against the number.
They're long away from the tabernacle.
This Georgia Southern team, you know, like you said, they're not up to the standards they usually are, but they're a team that can still run the football.
McCall didn't play in that game, right, against Georgia Southern?
No, he did not.
That's what I thought, and they got buried anyway.
Yep, he'll be back this week. But As far as this one goes, I'll take Georgia Southern there. I just don't think BYU's that good on the road. I'll take the 19. I'll take the 19.5.
I'm just not sure how many points Georgia Southern's going to score because even with Coastal using a backup quarterback, they couldn't move the ball against this team. They scored 8 points. I think they'll probably finish with around 7. I think that BYU has a chance to go for 30 as long as they are able to prevent Georgia Southern from completely milking the hell out of the clock. I like Hall as a quarterback. They got good weapons. I like Algier as a running back. Yeah, give me BYU.
Okay.
I like the under, though. I'm assuming you like the under, too.
I don't think Georgia Southern can win an over game there, can cover an over game. 2. They've got to keep that a knife fight for sure. I like SMU getting 10.5 against Cincy. Yeah,
we're gonna get to that game, but yep. I think you might be onto something.
Yeah, you're a braver man than I if you can back Cincinnati in this stretch right here. Oklahoma, number 13, -3.5 against Iowa State.
This is supposed to be the biggest game of the year, right? For the Big 12. You had the favorites to win the conference against the second favorites to win the conference. What can possibly go wrong?
Did you see the crowd chanting for Spencer Rattler last week, Scott?
I wouldn't have started chanting because when they left the other quarterback in, he was terrible. I don't understand the idea of cheering for the backup to come in. Don't you want the crappy starter to stay in the game?
Why would you want the crappy starter to stay in the game?
Well, because Oklahoma was on the road. So if you're Baylor's fans,
it was Oklahoma fans. It wasn't Baylor.
I thought it was Baylor fans. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, with Grayson, Jacob, with Grayson McCall back,
they should bury Texas State if McCall's back.
Yes, agreed. And he is.
So I thought it was Baylor fans chanting that, and I'm like, why would you want somebody who could potentially beat you to come into the game?
No, it was the Oklahoma. It was the Oklahoma.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah, this seemed like a little bit of an okie doke to you, buddy.
I'm taking Oklahoma. I just don't know how I'm supposed to like this Iowa State team. You can make an argument Oklahoma's been underperforming all year long, and you're right, they really have. But what do I like about Iowa State? You just gave up 45 to Texas Tech.
Yeah, you would have said their defense.
The defense has been awful. I don't know what to like about this team. Offensively, I'm not a Purdy guy. I like Hall. I think Hall's a great running back. I think Hutchinson's a good receiver. But defensively, they were supposed to be this unit, arguably the best defense in the entire conference, and they've been awful. I don't know what to like about either of these teams.
They haven't been awful.
Well, against some good competition, they've underperformed. Let's put it that way.
I mean, there's still a fine defense.
There's still a good defense, but giving up 45 to Tech is a red flag for me because this is not the usual Red Raiders air raid offense.
Iowa State's covered 5 of the last 6 against Oklahoma under Campbell.
I'm aware that historically they've been good, but in this game, if you're betting on either of these teams, you might want to go to a meeting because I don't trust any of these teams. Yeah. But I'll go with Oklahoma at home. They're in Lincoln. Iowa State, though, you thought maybe they might go on a run of some kind just because they potentially have the talent. Lose to West Virginia on the road. You lose to Texas Tech. Sorry, they gave up 41 to Tech. Yeah. But you're looking at the road performances this year. They looked good early on. Then they ended up losing the last 2 to West Virginia. 38 points to West Virginia is not good. And 41 to Tech's not good. I think Oklahoma's going to just simply score too many points.
Yep. Agreed. And the odds makers are telling us these teams are basically even, and I just don't believe that's accurate.
I think at preseason you might have had an argument because I thought Iowa State might be a sleeper, but I'm really not a Purdy guy. Do I like Oklahoma's quarterbacks? Williams, I was a big fan of, and then he struggled, but I really don't like Purdy. I don't think he's very good.
I'm with you, and you and I argued about that before the beginning of the year, and it llooks like you've been proved out on that.
I've watched him play. I've just never been impressed by his style.
Well,
I know you have too. I just have watched him make stupid decisions time after time.
Fair enough. As I hate historical trends, they mean nothing.
I think they matter when the coaches have a good read on each other, but for the actual players,
I don't hate 5 of the last 6. If you want to tell me what's happened since 1993 in college, no, that means jack shit to me.
Yeah, but I think that it might matter for coaches because Campbell has been definitely a worthy opponent for Lincoln Riley.
And his teams are very similar. And he's had success against Lincoln Riley in the past. Yeah,
T-Train saying he'll never put 5 cents in Oklahoma. My question for you, would you ever put 5 cents in Iowa State?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, the move here might just be to pass.
Sometimes the only way to win the game is not to play.
And I'm going with the over because screw it, why not?
Oh, you're on the over there?
Give me the over. Screw it. I've seen Iowa State's defense give up 30-plus points on the road numerous times.
I don't believe in their offense at all.
I don't blame you. Once again, don't play this game.
Let's play it. We implore you. Tune into our betting show as we tell you not to bet. Number 12, Ole Miss is hosting Vanderbilt.
I was going to say, I hope they play a real school. At least it's not an FCS school technically.
Well, it is a real school. It's just not a real good sports school. That's not a good football school. They do well at other sports. But for this one, Vandy has been a little
bad,
overmatched this season, Scott.
It's one way to put it. They actually didn't get blown out by Kentucky as much as I thought they were going to.
Well, there's that, which is something. They've been surprisingly good. They've won 2 games, they've covered 4. That's what I look at. How many times have you been able to cover there as a serious dog?
I think the question you have to ask is how much does Ole Miss care? It's a question you always have to ask when you play a bottom feeder team because Ole Miss, if they want to, could probably score 70. The
Yep.
question is, do they really want to?
Yeah, this is an Ole Miss offense that's kind of struggled a little bit. Can we say that over the last 3 weeks?
They've had a lot of injuries to skill position players, but yes.
They've been working without Corral, with Corral banged up.
The defense, though, was great against A&M.
Yeah.
Which shocked me.
Yeah.
But that defense was great.
Well, and they were good against Liberty as well.
I'm sorry, against who?
Against Liberty. Go ahead.
Liberty Bibberty?
Thank you. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
But you say what you want about Liberty, and obviously they're not as good as they were last year. But Malik Willis still pretty good.
He was awful in that game. What they force, like 2-3 interceptions in that one?
He was dreadful. They threw for just 173 yards, and that was a game they were behind most of the time. So
this is a really tough spot because a part of me wants to take the over because I think Ole Miss could score 60 by themselves, but defensively, this team could potentially stop Vanderbilt from scoring. So I don't really know what to think about this game. Oh, I wish it was 35 and not 36.5. Screw it.
Heartbreaker.
Give me Vandy backdoor and give me the over. But once again, this is such a tough game to pick.
Last 5 games have gone under for Ole Miss. 4 of the last 5 have gone under for Vanderbilt.
Oh God.
So I'm gonna take Vanderbilt as well. I'm gonna play the under, and I'm gonna give you the over.
Cool.
Neither one of us believe in Ole Miss minus 36. Sorry, guys, just a little too much.
If they win 70-3, I wouldn't be surprised either.
No.
But
Vandy can't win. They start with a V. No shit. They have no chance. Oklahoma State can't bet Oklahoma State either. We're almost to there. Okay, Baylor against K-State. Scott. Baylor was a small favorite early in the week. This has come down to pick 'em. Baylor ranked number 11th in the country. K-State, of course, unranked. Does the system come into play here? You've got your unranked home team that's not favored, but they're not an underdog against the ranked team. Where are we at here?
I'm taking Kansas State. It's been a good system so far this season. It's not foolproof. I've lost a couple, but I actually have not kept tabs on how it's done throughout the entire season. I know for a fact it's profitable, and I'm sure you'd agree with that. Just simply by selective recall, it's won more than it's lost.
Yep, agreed.
So I'm going to go with Kansas State. I can't get the Baylor performance against TCU on the road out of my head. Probably because I bet them and I lost money, and then they beat Oklahoma the week after. But Kansas State, with Thompson back at quarterback, has been really good. And I like Deuce Vaughn. I think he's going to be a future NFL player. They have the other running back who I'm not a big fan of Irvin, but they use him occasionally as more of a bruiser. But Vaughn's clearly better. It's most of the line for me. They're just daring you to take Baylor. Like, just do it. You won't. I'm not going to. I'm going to take Kansas State.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I was looking at stats the other night, and Skylar Thompson top 10 in a lot of quarterback stats in college football as far as completion percentage, yards per attempt, things like that. Things you probably wouldn't have guessed. So
Kansas State, after the Snyder era, had a couple of really down years. Now this team is actually decent. This might be the biggest game they've had for a while. Of course, when Oklahoma comes to town, it's a huge game anyway. But I'm saying in general, this game actually means something late in the year. Kansas State hasn't had that luxury for several years.
No, very true. Very true. We did talk about that Florida State game earlier, John. You guys liked BC there, right?
I kind of have to. I think it's a classic sandwich spot for Florida State, but just because they beat Miami doesn't mean I think Florida State's good. I think they have the better quarterback in this matchup. I like Travis. I think that he's got a certain edge to him. But in the cold weather in Massachusetts, I'll go with Boston.
All signs point to BC, and I know the comment section liked BC, and I know you liked BC. I
root for Florida State. I just assume the worst.
I hate that offense so much. I just can't get behind BC. So
I don't blame you.
For me, it's a pass. I'm going to play K-State here as well. I think K-State has really been doing it with defense lately.
I like the under in this game, which I
Yeah,
feel I'm trying to think if we've even taken an over up to this point, but I did with the Ole Miss game. We have been few and far between with the overs. I have to
yeah,
go with under because Baylor's defense has been good. They love to run the ball as well, and we know Thompson's a very good running quarterback.
yep.
Throwing, he's okay. I wouldn't say that he's a quality arm.
He's way better than you think, buddy. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. I just think Baylor's defense is okay, so I'm going to go and take the under.
I'm with you. I think both of those defenses
Give me
do a
23-20.
nice job. 23-20. Okay,
Yep.
good enough. Now the game we were talking about earlier, Wake Forest headed to Clemson to take on the Tigers. Wake Forest ranked number 10. Clemson, minus 4.5, 56.5 is the number. They kind of split the difference between the team that can't stop anybody, scores all the time, and the team that can't score and stops everybody. So
This is the ultimate test of faith game.
it is.
Just because it is straight up telling you Wake Forest is not going to win this game.
Yep.
Are you taking Clemson?
Yep.
That's really what it's telling you.
They're daring you to take the Forest, Scott. Daring you to take the Forest. Are you falling for it?
Clemson gave up no points offensively to UConn. How am I not impressed by this defense, right? I mean, I don't know what. Oh, God. This is such a game where if you're going to bet money on it, I can understand why people love Clemson because this is the classic spot that I always talk about. You have the home team that is Clemson's unranked, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So you have the unranked team favored by 4.5, which just sounds absurd against Wake Forest. This Wake team, I like. I faded them the last couple of weeks, mixed results, but oh God, I have no idea. This is just such an
well, you're quite an
spot.
addition to the show, young fella. Thanks
I
very
know.
much.
Can you go first? Maybe you'll sway me.
I can go first. You know, the worry obviously is this Wake Forest defense that gives up fucking points to everybody. I think over is the play here. But if you're asking me to get behind a team that's given up 193 points over their last 4 games to legitimate teams, not counting Duke, you're talking about what, 48 and a quarter points a game right there.
Mm.
Oh, Jesus. And, you know, Clemson, we roast their offense. They've actually found a little something, not counting the UConn game, but they put up 30 on Louisville. They put up 30 on Florida State. Uiagalelei maybe finding a little bit of mojo there. You know what? Fuck it. Give me Wake Forest. Give me the better offense over the better defense. I think it's going to be a shootout.
I'm just going to do it for fun. Give me Wake Forest money line. Let's live a little bit.
Clemson has been a huge under team this year, except for their last 3 games when the offense has found a little something, and they've played 3 straight overs. So
yeah, I'm just going to have some fun with this. Wake Forest, an entertaining team. I'm rooting for them. Give me them on the money line. But Clemson's won 3 in a row against Florida State, Louisville, and UConn, as you said before. Florida State, they won by 10. Friendly reminder, that was the lateral fiasco. So they really won that game by 4.
Right.
And they really only scored 24 points in that game.
And they were lucky. They were lucky to, believe it or not, but in spite of the final score, they were kind of lucky to win that game.
Correct. But they covered.
Right.
They covered technically, but they did not play well in that game. Louisville, they won, and that was close throughout. And truth is, DJ didn't play well last week against UConn. He did not really look that good. They ended up winning the game anyway. I think Wake Forest offensively has enough to keep Clemson's defense on its toes. Is it going to be a close game? Yes. Can Clemson win the game? Yes. But 4.5 does seem a little bit too high for a team that really struggled to beat Louisville and Florida State.
So what do you got?
I'm taking Wake Forest plus the 4.5.
Wow, you're fading your own system.
I said money line for fun, but yeah, I'm fading the system. Once again, if Clemson wins, they'll just punch me in the face. I don't trust Clemson to win by margin. I just can't do it.
I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I agree.
I want no part of an under game involving Wake Forest.
Clemson's been huge to unders. Wake Forest has been huge to overs at the half because usually you have about 80 points at the half. So I'm going to take the over.
Okay. Game they were talking about earlier, Oklahoma State on the road headed to Lubbock to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Guns up, Scott. Oklahoma State minus 10, 56.5 is your total right there. How you feeling about them Cowboys? Are they for real or not?
I don't know how Texas Tech's supposed to cover. Both their announcers got suspended for this game. You hear that story?
I saw the headline. I didn't read the story.
They were questioning, let's just say, the quality or the unbiased nature of the officials, and they used the actual names of all the officials. And the commissioner decided, yeah, you're going to put you in timeout for a week. So Texas Tech has no announcers that I know of for this game, but Oklahoma State's been killing people. I don't really know what else to say. They've been a complete one-man wrecking crew, which seemed to come out of nowhere. The defense we knew was good. The offense randomly just decided to become a world beater. I'm not sure when that took place, but it happened.
Right.
I'm going to take Oklahoma State.
Got to. Yeah, the game against Iowa State last week kind of gives me pause a little bit, but not enough. I think Oklahoma.
I think Iowa State's just a fraud.
I know you were looking forward to another opportunity to bitch about Iowa State, so that's fantastic.
I'm just saying, I think they're a fraud. Oklahoma State's been playing great, and it is what it is.
They're putting up a shit ton of points in this.
Jay Good, exactly. The officials' names are printed in the game program, so I didn't care they used their names. I guess the argument is you made it more accessible to the public, but the Big 12 shocker took the side of the officials, and they ended up suspending the broadcasters. So
T-Train says the other game he likes tomorrow is West Virginia -3 over Texas. The
only
thing I worry about there is I'm finally getting the fuck off of Texas. I think I've bet on them the last 3 weeks because they're going to snap out of it, because they're Texas and they've done nothing of the sort. So they're fucking dead to me right now, which means they will almost without question cover.
Spoken as a guy who had Kansas plus 30.5 last week. I agree. I like West Virginia. In addition to Texas just being bad with Sark, Robinson's probably out for the rest of the year. So they're missing their best running back, arguably their best offensive player. And defensively, they gave up 54 to Kansas?
Yeah.
That's not good. Give me West Virginia. Take me home country road.
There's the fucking understatement of the week.
Take me home country road.
Giving up 56 to Kansas. That's not good.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit how many overtimes you play. I'm taking the over in that game too. Oklahoma State offense has been hitting on all 12 cylinders lately.
I agree. Texas Tech's defense is useless.
Not good. Ja Tech heading to Notre Dame. Notre Dame covered a shit ton in a row, as we found out earlier. When they are the favorite, they cover.
The favorite at home.
At home. That's correct. They are number 8 in the country. 17 is the number. 59 is your total. The Ramblin' Wreck, Scott, they've shown some signs of life this season as the players start to get in you start to get rid of some of your triple option guys.
I'm just going to ask you straight up for Georgia Tech. Are you a fan of Sims or no?
I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not. I want to be. I'm
not sure if he can throw very, very fast. I just don't think he's a great pocket presence.
No, he's not a guy that's going to beat you with his arm. I think he's thrown for 300 yards like one time this season, maybe against Virginia or Duke or something.
Against Virginia when they were down like 3 touchdowns and almost had one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Fell short, but he had a lot of yards in that game.
Yep. But other than that,
I just don't know what to like about Georgia Tech. I mean, they had to give up 41 points to Boston College.
Yeah,
that's 41 points to Boston College. Really?
I don't know how that's even possible.
You were at home. It wasn't even in Boston College.
Yeah, I know. That's a terrible, terrible effort. And every week we talk about this Notre Dame team. I don't know how good they are. Blah blah blah. All they do is go out and win and fucking cover. So
they win. They're not impressive when you watch them on TV. But what you'll notice for Notre Dame, they wear you down over the course of 60 minutes. I think they'll win this game by 3 touchdowns. Give me Notre Dame.
I'm agreeing. I'm with you. They have won and covered 5 straight. And at the end of the day, this team's 9-1 on the season. They are 7-3 against the number. So
I root against Notre Dame, but they've been good. I have to admit that.
Touchdown, Jesus, buddy.
I'm going with the under, though.
As far as the total, this Notre Dame defense too good.
Yeah, I'm going with the under because even though Georgia Tech gave up 41 to Boston College, Notre Dame doesn't exactly go quickly, and I think that Georgia Tech's offense will do next to nothing.
Agreed. Michigan at Maryland, Scott. We've been
trap game.
We've been sold this bill of goods before, how good Maryland is at home. They're a different team at home than they are on the road.
Maryland, if the college football season was about 4 weeks every year, Maryland would be a top 10 team in the country. And then with Loxley, they will guarantee fall apart for the final 7 weeks of the season. It happens every year. It never changes.
Well, there's a few teams that are like that, but yeah, Maryland certainly comes to mind. Michigan team playing good ball right now. Scott, I've been pretty impressed by their defense.
I gotta take Maryland in this spot, right?
You have to take Maryland in this spot because
you
of
have the
next week's
ultimate
game.
look ahead to Ohio State next week. You have to. There's no way Michigan's not already prepping for Ohio State.
Well, and you got to be, and you have a possibility of a letdown spot as they beat Penn State. That was a game they had to have, and that was a big game. They went on the road and beat the Happy Valley Gang. So
I just have questions about Michigan's offense. I get that this team is very good at running the ball. I think that their quarterback play has been okay. McNamara has been okay. I don't think he's been amazing, but he's fine. But I have a bit of an issue with the idea that Michigan laying 15.5 with Ohio State on deck, especially with Harbaugh, isn't already just looking ahead to the game, don't you think?
Well, they'll tell you that they're not.
If you're looking at Maryland, they're 5-5, so they need to win one game to make it to a bowl. And this is going to be senior day because this is the last home game they have of the year. So I think the game is definitely going to be an emotional one for Maryland. I think they'll get up for it. Once again, you're kind of picking Harbaugh to choke in a big moment, which is always a fun thing to do.
Yep.
But I'm going to go with Maryland plus the points. It really does seem like a prime letdown spot for Michigan.
Yep. Vandy does have a very good baseball team. Yes, absolutely true.
Well, at least they're good at something.
We had Brandon Finnegan from the Royals. Actually went from pitching in the College World Series to won the College World Series, won the
well, when it comes to Vandy, I think of Walker Buehler. I think of Dansby Swanson. They had a couple of number one picks. David Price, yeah.
Yep. I can't get behind this Maryland team, dude.
It's fine if you can't. I'm looking at the spot.
I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. They just can't fucking score at all. I don't know what they're going to do on this Michigan defense.
Well, I like the under, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Maryland, by the way, 11.5-point dogs. Michigan State didn't cover. Penn State 10-point didn't cover. 22-point Ohio State didn't cover.
It means they're due.
They're due. I want no part of that. Give me Michigan. Look ahead spot or not. I don't think Maryland will let them look ahead there.
I see somebody asking about boxing, even though this is the college football show with Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, why
He's
not?
a huge favorite. Crawford's pound for pound top 2 boxer on the planet, maybe with Canelo. So yeah, I don't mind him beating Porter. Porter's a tough guy though. I don't mind by decision.
Okay. Cincinnati, 11.5 against SMU. We talked a little bit about this earlier. One of my favorite plays, I think.
Give me SMU.
Got to. How do you back Cincinnati right here?
That UCF defense was playing well, and then SMU dropped 55 on their head.
Mm-hmm.
So SMU's defense, Brownsbacker, Lomachenko, but he lost the belt in his last fight. So I do think he moved down some ranking spots there. But anyway, I really have a hard time trusting Cincinnati when they haven't covered in a month?
Starting with the Navy game, I think they've failed to cover 5 straight. If I'm not 4 straight. They covered against UCF. So and then the Navy game they've failed 4 straight.
So I'm going to go with SMU. I think that of course every team in the conference has Cincinnati circled on the calendar because that's the game. Give me SMU.
Yeah, this really is the game though.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge game for Cincinnati too.
I think they need to.
Ironically,
what? Yeah.
If SMU beats Cincinnati, they'll have enough clout and probably enough standing to make Cincinnati get to the number 4 spot if they wouldn't have already lost to SMU.
Yeah.
It's a real conundrum.
It really is, but I'm looking at SMU. I like the over. I have a hard time taking under with SMU being involved because I do think you'll see a lot of points here. Cincinnati's defense has really been underwhelming for the last month, which is a huge reason why they haven't covered this many numbers over the last month, if any numbers over the last month. So give me SMU plus the points and give me the over.
I also don't think Cincinnati quarterbacking has been top shelf here in the last.
I criticized Ritter for the last couple of months because every time he throws the ball more than 20 yards, it's inaccurate.
Yeah, they couldn't cover at South Florida starting a freshman quarterback. Exactly. We were on the absolute wrong side of that. But yes, you're correct, Jacob.
No, I thought we both liked South Florida in that game.
Uh, oh, you're right. You're right. On the other side. Jake,
We swept that game. Yeah.
when was the last time since he covered 5 games ago against
Was that Temple?
Central Florida?
Oh, Central Florida? Okay, whatever.
Yep, and they failed to cover 4 straight, all 20-point plus spreads, by the way. Michigan State on the road, heading to the shoe. Scott, take on number 4 ranked Ohio State. Michigan State ranked number 7.
This is another funniest line nominee when it comes to betting lines. This is such a meme.
Separated by just 3 points in the ranking, separated by 19 points in the spread.
Not exactly a pretty sight there. That's why we criticize college football sometimes for being extremely top heavy, because a team that's about to give their new coach or their most recently hired coach a $75 million extension is projected to get his ass kicked by a team that's 3 spots ahead of
It's
him.
like watching women's college basketball in the tournament, the number 1 versus the number 4 seed, and the spread.
They're laying 25. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter. But I'm looking at this matchup, and the question is, can Michigan State get a stop? Is Ohio State's defense going to get a stop? I don't know if Ohio State's defense is going to get enough stops. So at first glance, you got to consider Michigan State, because I don't want to lay this much with Ohio State if they really aren't going to get many stops, because Purdue really moved the ball on them, and Michigan State should be able to do the same. I love the over in this game. I think you'll see a bunch of points. Give me the points. I think Michigan State's going to lose this game by 17.
Okay.
I don't like the over.
It does seem like a sucker line. It seems like
It does seem like a sucker line, but I do think Ohio State's defense isn't good enough to be laying this many points.
They are daring you to take Michigan State.
Yep.
Scott, you have fallen for it. I'm not falling for it. Give me Ohio State to cover that number. I also like the you know what? I'll play the under. I think that Ohio State defense has something for them. I'll play the under there.
I think Ohio State will be covering in the fourth quarter. I'm kind of just hoping that Ohio State goes ball control offense to just milk the clock, and Michigan State goes backdoor.
Okay, fair enough. Number 3 ranked Oregon. Here's another one, buddy. Going on the road to play the number 23 ranked Utah Utes.
What is a Ute?
You say Ute? Mine, yes, we will do that joke every time. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Good says Michigan State.
Saying they're good as underdogs, but I mean, I'm looking at the spot. Ohio State's defense, I just think is going to give up 30 plus in this game.
Utah minus 3.5. Scott, wait, Oregon's the number 3 team in the country. Well, how can they be an underdog?
I'm taking Utah. I kind of have to, right? They're daring you to take Oregon. All these lines have booby traps written all over them, and I might have taken the banana in the tailpipe for the Michigan State one, but for this one, I'm fading the Ducks.
I love Utah.
Utah is a really, really fun team, and they've been under the radar all year long. They were our dark horse candidate to win the Pac-12, if they even count as a dark horse candidate, but we both just like them.
Right.
Oregon, I'm not an Anthony Brown guy. Oregon will always play with its food in every game, even against the bad teams. Against California, it was close. Washington State, it was close for 3 quarters. Utah is a team that I do think is extremely dangerous, and I do think that even when the quarterback left the program with Brewer, their new quarterback's been good.
Yeah.
Rison's been good.
Yeah, he has.
So I'm going to go with Utah. I think that this definitely has a game where the public is going to chase, take Oregon at night, and get buried.
Yep, I agree. I think it. I think Utah has enough for them on the offense. I don't think this Oregon defense at the end of the day can shut them down.
Is Oregon's defense good besides Thibodeau? The secondary, I think, is okay.
Yeah,
I think the other guys are just a bunch of mediocre players.
Linebacking core has missed a lot of tackles this year, bud.
Yeah, I was going to say, the linebackers in particular, I don't think are very good. Give me the over.
Yeah, I think so. I have agreed on more than we usually do today.
Utah is currently -3.
Is it down to 3? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I see 3.5s in some spots, but I see 3.
I still like them.
Yeah, so do I.
Alabama laying 20.5 to number 21 ranked Arkansas. That's there at Legion Fields. That's still 20.5.
Well, did Bama technically have a bye last week or no? Because they played New Mexico State. Does that count?
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't think anybody's worn out too much. I like this Arkansas team. I think they're a little bit ahead of schedule.
I'm taking Bama.
Maybe expect them to be this good, but this is what Bama does. This The time of year.
Oh no, a ranked team getting 3 touchdowns against Bama. They'll keep it close. They'll lose by 90. It's the same story every damn
We've
year.
seen this movie before, and we've seen it at this time of year. This is when when everybody in the nation starts going, fuck, really? Is Bama going to get in there? And yeah, they are. And this is how they do it. They blow out good teams like they're going
They
to blow out
ramp
Arkansas.
themselves up in November, and they usually put the pedal to the metal. So I think they'll end up killing.
I see this one 45-10. Give me the under.
I'm going to go with the under 2. I think Arkansas's defense is definitely inconsistent, but I do think that Bama is going to try to run the ball. I think that Arkansas will try to force Bama to go through some long sustaining drives. It might not help because Bama's receivers are just so damn fast. I don't think that Arkansas's secondary can keep up with them. Give me the under, but I think Bama rolls.
Yep, agreed. Jacob brings up a great point. I like the 20.5. If Arkansas was getting 21 in the hook, then
Yeah, that key number is definitely important.
No question about it. That is a very key number. And we'll finish it up with a whimper, not with a bang, Scott, as we've got no line on this Georgia-Charlotte Southern game. So, fuck it. Bet Georgia to cover in the, I don't know, the under. Because Charlotte's going to score nothing.
That sounds about right.
Team total under 5 or whatever the fuck you can get that at.
That team fell off a cliff.
Charlotte Southern?
Southern?
Yeah, they fell off
Not
a cliff.
Good. Fell off a cliff.
Okay. Were they good at one point?
I'm assuming they peaked in like 1975.
Okay, very good. All right, guys. So that brings our show to the close. The only thing left to do here is for you and I to lay out our 3 favorite picks. And Scott, I don't give a shit what you did last week. I only got one thing to say to you this week, and that is a loser's walk.
So for the first one, I'm going to be taking a full game total, something that I haven't done in a
Full
while.
game?
And it involves your team.
What?
Missouri and Florida.
Oh, God.
Give me the over 69. Nice. At minus 108 if you like to bet online. Couple reasons why. Florida offensively has been good this season despite all the issues, averaging 33.5 points per game. Missouri's averaging 31.5 points per game. So even though that team is also terrible, offensively they've been okay. Florida has allowed at least 40 points in 3 of its last 4 games. At home, it allowed a Samford to score 52 points as that game landed 122. Missouri's defense is a mess, allowing 35.9 points per game, which ranks 117th in the nation out of 130 teams. And Florida, last but not least, is averaging 227.7 rushing yards per game, while Missouri is allowing 249 rushing yards per game. I think Florida's going to score 50 in this game if they want to. I think they're going to score minimum 40, but I think there's multiple ways to cash in over here. Florida's defense is a mess. The offense is good. Missouri's the same exact way, and I do think you'll see a bunch of points in this game. Give me the over.
What you got it at? What's your number?
69 at minus 108.
How could I forget that? You know what? Well, I think that I will not draw this out since you brought up that game. I'm going to take a play from the same game. However, I'm going to fade my alma mater, Scott. I am going to fade the Missouri.
I think they're correlated because you're just penciling Florida in for 50. That's kind of what you're doing.
I would be stunned if they didn't score 50 here. This is a Missouri defense that is historically bad against the run. They are awful, awful, awful. And Florida, they don't do a lot right, but they can run the ball. They average 6 yards per carry. They are going to have a fucking field day.
330 plus rushing yards incoming
against 300 plus for sure. This is a game at one point I toyed with the idea of going to see. I want to be.
You should go for fun. You're going to see 80 points.
Nowhere near this contest.
I'll bet the drive props.
Home game for Mizzou. Don't give a shit. Yeah, if you have access to drive props, you should absolutely load them up. Give me Florida minus the 9 over my beloved Missouri Tigers.
And if you want to parlay the 2, I don't mind that either, but I'm going with the over just to be safe. But Browns backer asking why I'm not doing a first quarter play because I hit one last week. That's actually false. I hit a first quarter play in the NFL. So stay tuned for the NFL show tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a first quarter play.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just going to say a quick reminder that we are doing our NFL show tomorrow at the regular time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. So
looking at the second play that I like, it's going to be a matchup in a game that somebody asked me before. Western Kentucky, minus 10 against Florida Atlantic. I say I don't want the 10 because I found 9.5 at minus 115 on FanDuel. Couple reasons why I like this play. First of all, 9.5 is a gift. Every other book has 10.5 or 11, and yet FanDuel's giving you 9.5. I'll take that all day, every day, twice on Friday. And a couple reasons why. Western Kentucky's won each of its last 5 games by at least 15 points. Florida Atlantic has lost each of its last 2 by at least 14, including a 16-point loss to Old Dominion last week, which is a really poor showing. Florida Atlantic, terrible on the road, 1-4 straight up, and each of those 4 losses have come by at least 14 points. I expect Zappy to go for 350, 400 plus yards, and I think that Florida Atlantic's offense is a mess right now. Give me Western Kentucky minus 9.5.
Oh, I love that one. It's a
I gotta go with Zappy, man. Guy's a king.
yeah, he really is. If you haven't had a chance to see this team play, much like we advised you to watch Pimpleton the other night, I advise you to watch Bailey Zappi as well.
It's mostly just fading Florida Atlantic on the road. When your 4 road losses, including games against Old Dominion, are all by 14 plus points, you are just a disastrous road team. It is what it is.
Yep, absolutely true. My second play is going to be from the Fun Belt, Scott. We're going to play the Arkansas State Red Wolves and the Georgia State over.
It better be an over if you have Arkansas State involved.
65 and a half is the best number I've got there.
Granger danger.
Yeah, this is an Arkansas State team. You talk about the Mizzou defense being awful, and this Arkansas State team is awful as well. And the defense and the offense has kind of sputtered here lately, but I think the Georgia State defense is going to be good for what ails them. This is a situation where they kind of over adjusted as far as making the totals too high in Arkansas State games, and have actually hit the under here a few games in a row. I think that number has finally fallen back into a playable range. So I will take Arkansas State, Georgia State over 65 and a half.
Yeah, I think if you're taking an over, Arkansas State games are usually a good place to start. But looking at my last play, I'm going to be sticking with the Conference USA, looking at a matchup between North Texas and FIU. And I'm taking North Texas minus 9.5 at minus 115 if you like to bet online. Couple reasons why. North Texas has won each of the last 3 games. FIU, 0-6 in conference play. Each game, they've lost by at least 12 points. They've played against 9 FBS teams this season. They are 0-9. Plus, their current head coach, Butch Davis, is already out of a job, but he's still there. So I don't really know what he's coaching for. And FIU will be missing its leading rusher, Devontae Price, who has 682 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. They also might be missing their 3rd leading rusher. So they're missing their best offensive player. They're a terrible team, and North Texas has been playing well lately. I'll lay the 9.5 all day, every day, because FIU might be a bottom 10. They definitely are a bottom 10 FBS team in the country.
I would agree. And you got it at 9.5, you said?
Yep, 9.5 at minus 115.
Very solid. All right, and I'm going to finish it off with the game we talked about earlier, and this is going to be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish minus the 17. I admit I've been slow to like this Notre Dame team. I didn't like what they did on offense, but they've gotten better as the season's gone on, and the defense has been outstanding. So I will play I'll play the Fighting Irish, lay the 17. Don't usually like to lay that many points as far as my big plays go, Scott. I've got stung a couple times with the big numbers. That one, as far as I don't think that number's big enough. Give me a Notre Dame minus 17. No, Bill, Presbyterian's done for the year. It's a fucking scandal. It's
over. The dream is dead. It's over.
The Blue Hose are done, buddy. I hope you made it all in the last 9 weeks. Because
come back next season. But hell of a run.
That's on my bucket list for next year. I want to go see Presbyterian play a game.
I would fly to see them play, and that's a hell of a time.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So just to recap, I've got Florida minus 9 against Mizzou. I've got the Arkansas State, Georgia State over 66.5. And I've got the Notre Dame Fighting Catholics minus the 17.
And my 3 plays, I got Florida, Missouri over 69 at minus 108. I have Western Kentucky minus 9.5 at minus 115. And I have North Texas minus 9.5 at minus 115.
There you go. T-Train says he's going to have a good weekend. He's going to spend the weekend making pies. Is that a euphemism for something, dude? Hey, you want to make some pies this weekend? You know what I'm saying? I like pie. That's a big surprise there. Big surprise at all. All right. So, hey, guys, thanks for hanging out with us, especially you guys that did double duty. We appreciate it, as always. We'll be back tomorrow doing the NFL show. But until then, from me, from Scott, from all of us, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking in the comment section. We love all you guys. Have a great day. Good luck on all your plays. And, let's go cash some tickets tonight. Meet back here tomorrow. Talk all about it. We'll see you at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.